My new piece in The Atlantic. One is, you mentioned Michael Flynn. That, as someone Trump was willing to fire, that's a name that's being bandied about in the West Wing now, but as someone who quit too early, that they actually regret. Trump has said he regrets pushing out Flynn when he did, and he's more inclined to dig in and fight. Now, no one's ruling out the idea that Waltz or less likely Hegseth could be shown the door, but at least for now, the administration wants to stay and fight, and they're taking notice of what Republicans are trying to defy them. We mentioned earlier in the show about how Senator Wicker leading an investigation. Some in the West Wing wondered if Lindsey Graham might also support that. Graham came out otherwise and said, look, this was a mistake, but no one should lose their job. What did Graham get? He was rewarded with an out-of-nowhere Truth Social endorsement post from Trump. So they are keeping score as to who is advocating for what.
An endorsement
right
for
now.
what? He doesn't run for, like...
Eventually.
What? You mean just like whenever
Another
Lindsey
year and a
runs
half.
in for
It's his next, yeah. 26,
That could
he's up in
happen
26.
next week if Lindsey, like, slices a ball into the woods and, like, hits a bird or something. I mean, what good does an endorsement a year and a half off do for any Republican?
Well, Donald Trump is happy to give it for Graham, who always believes, could be vulnerable to a particularly extreme MAGA primary challenge. But that's how they're trying to dole this out right now. And we're seeing they're scrambling. This is the worst week of their administration so far. And there's a bit of a flailing as to how to respond, because this is a story that's really broken through. Conservative columnist Peggy Noonan wrote about it. And her new piece for the Wall Street Journal has this title: A New Administration's Signal Failure. And she writes in part this: the signal mess is a real mess, not something that will fade away quickly, because it's one of those scandals that give the world a picture of a new administration. Every government in the world, even those with the best intelligence services, has wondered exactly what's it like in there, how exactly it works. To see the transcripts of the now famous Houthi PC small group is to conclude it's pretty ad hoc, pretty messy. The word jejune comes to mind. There was a real bro culture feel to some of the texting. The young are constantly texting with different threads going. The fraternity thread, the Vegas buds thread, the groomsmen at the wedding thread. We just saw the government bros thread. They should have admitted the blunder from the moment the first batch of texts were published in The Atlantic. They misread their position and misread what Jeffrey Goldberg would do if they challenged his accuracy or interpretations. He published the whole lot, which made them look stupid twice. And Joe, as reported, they gambled that The Atlantic and Jeffrey wouldn't put forth the texts. But once the credibility of the publication was questioned, they decided to go for that. And we should also note Hillary Clinton, who, of course, was caught up in a matter about sensitive government materials, has a new piece out for the New York Times. The title, "This is Just Dumb."
Okay. That's another way to say the word jejune comes to mind. I've got to say, and by the way, that's exactly, I turned to my sons and I saw the Rose Bowl last year, and when Alabama, last play of the game, decided to run the ball up the middle, my sons turned to me and said, the word jejune comes to mind. I love Peggy. But I don't think I've even heard you use jejune in any of your profiles. But,
go back and look.
Okay, I'll go back and look. But there is such a sort of a ring of truth to this, from diplomats and people I've spoken to across the world, allies and some who are sort of teetering in the middle. Really concerned that this is the way. First of all, that this information got out, but also the lack of seriousness in what they saw in these transcripts.
Yeah, and it's not like, a bunch of people were spouting off like in a green room or something. this is like supposedly...
Not that we've done that.
Not that we've ever done that. Yeah. Certainly not on Signal. But you look at this, and this is as sensitive, as highly sensitive as you can imagine. And it's always interesting, of course, when you rarely get a glimpse into the group dynamics or a text group dynamics or what have you, to sort of see how it's playing out. But, the utter seriousness here just rises above any sense of partisan points being scored or anything.
Allie, what are you hearing on the Hill?
Look...